Hello and welcome to the Eagle's Nest. This is episode 8 with Kenny Coleman, good friend of mine. I met on Xbox. If your parents ever told you don't talk to strangers online, well, we didn't really listen to that one. So you guys know, in this episode we're going to be talking about Disney Plus, Star Wars. We're going to be talking about the new shows coming up. We're going to be talking about The Mandalorian, what we think so far of it. We're also going to touch a little bit on what happened at the Capitol. What we're going to be going into in 2021 with Biden as our new president, and
I'm ecstatic.
And whatever else comes up. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoy. Me and Kenny have been friends for a long time. We were just talking about it. I know last episode I said 3-4 years, but we were thinking it's probably even longer than that. We've known each other probably since like 2012, 2013 when Destiny 1 was really big.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, Kenny, tell me a little bit about yourself. What do you do for work? Any hobbies, that kind of stuff?
Head supervisor at Endless Mountain Stone Company. I've been working there for 11 years now. I just a stone laborer, really. I have about 12 guys underneath me, and basically we bring in large blocks from the quarry and put them under 7-foot and 11-foot saws, cut them into slabs, and then process them the next day and continue and keep going through that process.
Oh, that's cool. So that's used for construction, obviously, right?
Yep.
So how do those blocks get used? Like, what are they used for? Like foundation, or are they more looks like rocks, or
all of the above?
Okay.
For paving, inside, outside, walls, steps.
Oh, okay.
Anything you can think of.
Oh, that's cool.
If it's a surface, it can be covered with bluestone.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Ceilings as well.
Oh, wow, really?
Yeah.
That's cool. So, Kenny, let me ask you. You are a big Star Wars fan. What got you into Star Wars? What was the first thing that really made you want to keep going with Star Wars and say you love it?
Well, I grew up around it. My mom had all of the VHS tapes, and I used to watch them when I was younger, growing up, and it just became one of my favorite sci-fi films. I never got into Star Trek.
Same.
I just couldn't get into it. I tried watching it.
Yeah.
Friends tried to get me into it, and I just wasn't feeling it. But the Star Wars, I just was able to get into it. I just love the story behind it, all the characters. It just seemed like there was a lot of thought process through it, and that it was well thought out. And that George Lucas really just made another world.
Yeah.
That really has become something that everyone uses for reference, whether it's politics or real life or just anything.
Yeah.
It's just neat.
Yeah. No, I it's kind of the same thing with you. Like, my dad was a big Star Wars fan. He grew up when Star Wars was first coming out.
Yeah.
And he had all the VHS tapes, so I would watch them with him all the time. And the first Star Wars movie I went to see in theaters was the third one in the prequel, when Anakin turned into Darth Vader.
Yep.
And we went to go see that in person. I've always loved Star Wars. Always been a huge Star Wars fan, thanks to my dad. But yeah, I never got into Star Trek either. Something about it, just, I don't know, maybe the action, or I don't know. It just never really was for me.
No.
So each Star Wars film, I believe I've heard George Lucas say that Star Wars was based on, like, he wrote it as like a political type movie to show politics.
I've heard that.
But I've noticed for everybody it has its own meaning.
Mm-hmm.
To you, what does Star Wars mean to you?
In a politic fashion?
In any fashion. Like, when you think of Star Wars, besides just loving it, like, what does it mean to you? Is it like connecting with your mom? Like, what does it mean?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a something I could relate to my mom. My mom loved Star Wars. That's why she had them. And, being able to see these new movies coming out and watching them as they come out, and they spaced them out over, a couple of years in between. So just to see what they've done with the older ones being revised in the 4K. I don't know if you've seen those.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty in love with watching 4K movies.
Yeah.
That was just to see them go from the old kind of like seeing ships on strings,
Mm-hmm.
to almost looking as good as the Mandalorian that's out now. I was so impressed that they were able to turn that around.
Yeah.
What does it mean to me? I don't know. I just I find that you can just relate it to everything. It's just there's always something in Star Wars and some aspect of it, even as much as the Mandalorian or Boba Fett or just any character that you can relate to for something in your life.
Yeah.
And it's good for that.
I can understand that. Yeah, that's actually a great point because I've seen like my own qualities. Like I like to bring qualities that I like about characters. Like I'm a big comic book fan. Like growing up, comic book characters, they're your idol. Like I think it's kind of the same thing with Star Wars characters. You see Obi-Wan Kenobi is like the greatest Jedi of all time. He's got the heart of one of the greatest dudes alive. And then you got Anakin, where he's a good dude, but he's got some bad things about him, and you can relate to those things.
Yep.
So what's your favorite Star Wars movie or movies? Do you like the originals? Are you more of a prequels guy or?
Many would disagree with me, but Episode 1 is my favorite.
With Phantom Menace?
Yeah, the Darth Maul.
Yeah.
I just was always I liked the dual saber. That's just my favorite.
Yeah.
The first lightsaber I had bought that you said you wanted to talk about lightsabers.
Yeah.
It was a duel, and I naturally just pretty good, skilled with spinning her around, and it's just fun. It's just fun, and it was I'd always thought one day it'd be cool to have a real lightsaber. Well, that never happened, so I got a fake one. But I don't know. I just liked that story as the original coming back. It was a new story that no one had heard yet. Anybody who maybe read the books probably heard it, but you didn't hear it if you only watched 4, 5, and 6. And most people had always questioned, why did it start at 4? Why did he start there?
Yeah.
But to see that stem through from 1, 2, and 3, those are my 3 favorites, I think.
Yeah.
Then as 7, 8, and 9 came out, I just wasn't as impressed.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I have to agree with that.
Yeah. I mean, I'm happy with the way it all ended, I guess, but I'm not happy that I don't know. It just didn't feel right. It felt rushed.
It did, and I mean, going into it, if you look at like Harrison Ford and
great actor
Mark Hamill and Carrie Fisher, they all really didn't want to come back. I think Carrie Fisher wanted to come back, but Mark Hamill said that he didn't want to come back unless Harrison Ford came back, and Harrison Ford just didn't want to do it. And I think from the start it was kind of an iffy project because they were trying to keep the original story and add something new to it, but when people just don't want to be there, I mean, it takes away from it. And like you said, it was rushed.
Yeah.
And like the whole Luke story, with the Last Jedi, I believe it was called. I just don't. I don't see Luke Skywalker getting to that place in his life at any time. Even with that big thing, like you practically killed your own father. I mean, you didn't do it, but like you practically killed your own father, and you watched him die in front of you. And if that didn't turn you to the dark side, why would your sister's son that you didn't even know was your sister for 20 years of your life? Why would that affect you like that?
Yep.
And for him to isolate himself and completely swear off the Force, that's just not Luke Skywalker.
Yeah.
Not from what I've seen. That's not the character that I saw from those 70s movies. It's just not the same guy.
It just seemed like Disney put their own spin on it that was a little different when their other movies, the Solo, Rogue One, and The Mandalorian, all great.
Yeah.
I loved every one of them.
Yeah.
Even Rogue One, which a lot of people didn't like for some reason, but I thought that had a
I
great
liked
story
Rogue One. I did.
I wished it had a lightsaber in it, but that's okay. It still had some decent fighting and a lot of action, and it still had a good story to it.
Yeah.
It had something for everyone.
And it was cool to see Darth Vader at the end just go through and chop everybody up.
Kicked ass.
Yeah, that was pretty dope because we never really saw Darth Vader go like that in the original movies, really.
Yeah.
We just saw little like, What are your thoughts so far on The Mandalorian? What do you think? We were just talking about Jon Favreau.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Every episode has just amazed me at how much better the next episode is. It's been good. I'm very impressed. The detail It looks fantastic. The characters are well thought out. They find a way to put as many characters in every episode as possible.
Yeah.
Species, I guess, whatever they're called. But it's just there's so much action. It's funny. You got the cuteness of Baby Yoda.
Yep.
It's good. It's
Yeah.
good. What do you think of it?
I like it. I will say I only watched the first season fully. Then we lost Disney Plus, but I've been skipping through, like,
So
I've been watching
I spoiled
parts.
it for you?
I knew it. You're good. And because when I heard that came out, like, I was like, I need to see this. All the big stuff, like Ahsoka coming in, like I've seen that. But the first season I watched, I loved the first season, and I agree. Like they're very diverse. They want to show all the characters because, I think that's something that has to do with Jon Favreau. He wants to be creative, show characters that haven't been shown before, show characters that have been shown before. And I like we were saying before, I love Jon Favreau. I think he's a great director, and I think that, he really wants to give people what they want. He's not like everyone else at Disney. He's not Kevin Feige, where it's like, this is my plan, and I think that this is how we're going to attract people into this. No. He knows that people love Star Wars for the original story. Like, yes, I'm sure, you could write a new Star Wars story and it'd be great, but it'll never have the same, take that original series had.
I kind of love Star Wars for the side stories. I think there's just so much more to that world that hasn't been told.
Oh, no, I agree.
There needs to be seasons of Yoda and, hopefully the Boba Fett. I heard it is a new one. Then ObiWan.
I can't wait.
Old Republic. I think there's a few other ones that I've heard. I just hope that they can have a Jedi Temple one. They can have a Sith. They can have a Bane. Have you ever heard of Darth Bane?
Yep.
I mean, there's so much to him. That was so long ago. Before that, the history of Star Wars goes back so far.
Yeah.
And he wrote so much story to it that it can literally be told forever.
Yeah.
And which is great.
That is good.
So I hope they continue with that. The side ones like Rogue One, like Solo, and The Mandalorian.
Well, I hope that, because we talked about Luke and Ahsoka coming in. What did you think of that Ahsoka cameo?
Perfect.
You like that?
She fit the part.
I think Rosario Dawson was a great pick for that.
Yes.
I think she does very well.
I heard that she was going to play that part about 3 weeks before that, or as soon as it was available, and I just pictured that in my mind. Perfect.
Yeah.
She fit that part. When you copy from the Clone Wars cartoon, it was good.
Yeah,
it was good.
And so I'm really excited for that Ahsoka spinoff. I watched the Clone Wars when I was younger.
Expecting that.
And no, I wasn't either.
Yeah.
But she is a major character, and the
she
way
was
that
left out.
The way that Star Wars is going too is they're trying to be more inclusive. They're not trying to keep all the male people in it anymore. They want to show like there are some badass females out there,
Yep.
And Ahsoka Tano is the badass female that you if you're gonna throw anybody off, it's Ahsoka Tano.
Some of the most deadly Siths have been females.
Yeah.
And some of the apprentices, and it seemed like they left that out of the main storyline.
Yeah.
It wasn't important at the time, but I'm happy that they're making all that now. There's just with the Disney Plus, there's so much they can do with that.
Yeah.
And now it's unlimited.
Yeah.
There's so many movies and TV shows, and they got to keep you subscribed. So they better.
Well, now we know too with the Mandalorian. Obviously, Ahsoka crossed over with the Mandalorian, and we know that the Mandalorian takes place when Luke is in his prime. So I mean, my hopes is that in the Ahsoka show at some point we get to see them cross over together. I think that would be really cool,
and maybe even see Anakin.
Yeah.
In his pre-Darth Vader time.
That would be really cool because they are bringing Hayden Christensen back for the Obi-Wan series.
Yes.
So I could see them bringing him in for Ahsoka for some.
He could probably play Obi-Wan forever because I don't think he ages.
No, and he doesn't too. That's crazy. Like he still looks exactly the same.
Yeah.
He's drinking a lot of water. It's good for him.
Must be it, not coffee.
Yeah, not coffee, but somebody's got to drink coffee. I mean, you got to get me up somehow, right? Yeah. So what do you hope to see in that Ahsoka series?
Oh, I couldn't even tell you. I mean, there's so much to dive into. Like you said, I hope to see Luke. I hope to see Anakin. Maybe some more Yoda. Just any kind of maybe original characters from the storyline. I think that's their chance to bring him in, is during that. Because she should have been in, I believe it was episode 2, if I'm right. Or 3, in between.
I think it would have been, 2 and 3 in between that, Yeah,
because she would have been Anakin's
apprentice,
apprentice. But he was still kind of Obi-Wan's apprentice too. So I don't know how that works.
Because that's the thing.
At some point,
is in that story with Ahsoka and Anakin, isn't Anakin already a Jedi Master?
Yes.
And in the movies, he's not a Jedi Master. He's still an apprentice, right? And then because that's like the famous scene with Mace Windu, like you're not ready or whatever. Like that's him saying you're not ready to be a Master Jedi.
Yeah.
And I think that was why he flipped. Like that was the one thing is like they don't want me, so I'm promised power on the dark side.
I would love to see the transition of Anakin to Darth Vader, and see that after a season or 2.
Yeah.
I would like to see a couple seasons before and then a couple seasons after the transition, so she can train with Anakin, but then fight Darth Vader. I think that would be,
and I think that would create a good drama aspect to it too.
They had it in the Clone Wars cartoon, but to see it in the live action would be
next level. Mm-hmm. It's been said many times that the lightsaber fights have really lacked luster in the past few movies.
Yes.
What do you think about that?
They have. They're very poor.
Yeah.
I think they had a hard time finding an instructor. Or they just didn't hire one, because it didn't seem like there was any skill to what they did. I would say the best scene was Snoke when he had the I don't know what they're called, the Red Guards around.
Oh yeah.
That fight where they teamed up together, and that was good. That was a cool fight. That was probably the best part of all of it. And then I don't know, it could have used a lot more.
I agree.
Skill in there. Some more spinning of any kind. It just seemed like they were just doing straight moves.
Yeah, I mean, it just doesn't. It didn't seem like I could step up there and probably do better moves. Mm-hmm. Like when I was little, I was doing the Anakin spin around the back and everything. Like I loved doing that. Like I loved trying to.
Those are the movies that made me interested in doing that, learning that skill.
Exactly. And people, they always rag on the prequels, but. Right, that's the prequels of the first 3. I don't know how those words work. Yeah. I believe it's the prequels, right?
Yeah.
It
would be.
So, my favorite, like growing up, obviously I enjoy the originals more. Like Return of the Jedi was probably one of my favorites. Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. Okay. But in the prequels, I really loved Attack of the Clones. I believe it was called. When that was when Anakin was an apprentice, and with Padme and everything. I thought that movie was great. Yeah. With Count Dooku and Anakin getting his hand chopped off. I thought they did great with that movie. And then Yoda came in flipping around, spinning, and that was really cool.
I remember going to the theater and seeing Yoda finally fight, and that was just awesome. I think he fights Count Dooku?
He fights Count Dooku, yes.
And then I think he fights him again in this third one. Or that might have been just 6.
Or no, you know who he fights in the third one? I think it's the Emperor. Yeah. I think he fights Emperor Palpatine.
Yep. Both fights were really well done, and to see that was when I know computer animation was out before that, but that's when it really started getting good, and they were just the animation that they were able to do with that and make it look so real. I remember being amazed by that.
Yeah, no, that was my dad used to say that too. Like he loved Yoda. Yoda was one of his favorites, and he loved how finally getting to see Yoda do that action and all that. It was really cool. I mean, I'm a big Yoda fan too. Like it's cool when you get to see that little dude jump around and do flips and like chop through people.
And he was really the only glimpse we saw in any of the movies of true Force power.
Yeah,
him and Count Dooku with the lightning, and I guess a little bit of. The Emperor as well.
Yeah.
But they didn't do any of the other additional Force powers like they showed in the last episode of Mandalorian and with Darth Vader at the end of Rogue One.
Yeah.
That's when they showed what they can really do, when they lift them up and hold them against the ceiling and crush them and all the, there's so much more that they can do to their power.
Yeah.
And they never show any of it.
Yeah.
They're just like throw an object.
Yeah, and I think I hate that too because I know it's story, right?
Yeah.
And they do it in comic books too, like Superman fighting Batman. Why doesn't Superman just blast his fucking heat vision through his eyes? Like
he's got to save that for the last 5 minutes, otherwise the whole rest of the movie wouldn't make
exactly,
sense.
Exactly. Yeah. Like, yeah, no, I understand it, but like at the same time, like I don't know, like maybe write the situations a little bit better, you know, like so they can use their actual powers. Like of course it would make sense. Like if it's a one-on-one battle and like you're just like force pushing people, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
But when you got like 15 dudes around you and you're blasting one droid away and you're chopping one droid's head off, when I know you can, in all reality, can just chuck your lightsaber and use the force to cut through every single one of them.
Yep.
Like that's what you should show.
So what you're saying is we should have Jedi,
5-minute movies.
Jedi versus Superman?
Yeah, I think that'd be really cool. I think
Seems
that'd be
like a
really
good
cool. I mean, I think a
crossover.
Jedi would beat Goku.
Yeah. They're pretty powerful.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's no one knows what their real true powers are because
That
they
is
don't,
true.
They don't ever show all of
That
them.
is true.
I mean, I haven't really read the books, so I don't even know, but I've heard by watching YouTube videos and listening to other people who have read the books, and it's unreal what they can really
Yeah.
do.
No, this is off topic, but have you ever seen Ben 10?
No.
Okay, so in Ben 10, it's about this kid that I don't know if you've heard about it. He's got this alien wristwatch, and he can dial through and he can choose an alien that he wants to turn into. He just slaps it down, turns into the alien.
Okay.
And there's this major theory that like Ben 10 could defeat anybody because technically you don't live on his Earth. You're an alien. So once he sees you, your alien data goes into his thing, and then he'll turn into the best version of you. So like if he goes to Goku's planet or whatever, he sees Goku, he meets a Super Saiyan, his next evolution that he'll get will be like the pinnacle of Super Saiyans. So like he could beat Goku like that, but that's like one of those things. Like I wonder if he could turn into a Jedi. Like could you? But you'd still be a human. Like or would you just get the powers? I don't know. But
You probably could.
yeah, I don't know. But yeah, that was off topic, but I just thought I'd share. So are you ready for the Obi-Wan spinoff? I'm most definitely ready.
Honestly, that's the least one I'm looking forward to.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's the one I'm looking forward to the most.
I hope they do it better than I expect. I just don't feel like there's as much story.
Yeah.
The Boba Fett, I feel like there's so much more to tell that no one's ever heard anything about. Obi-Wan's been in several movies.
Yeah.
So you know kind of about him. You just don't know his backstory. So I feel like there's a lot of gaps to be filled in between the movies, which I would love to see all that. And I hope they prove me wrong. But I feel like the other ones might be a little bit better. But that's just me.
Yeah. Well, one thing I was talking with my girlfriend Grace about was with the Obi-Wan series is I had heard that they had planned on bringing back, obviously, well, they're bringing back Darth Vader and Hayden Christensen. So why wouldn't they bring back other villains, right?
Yeah.
I could see them bringing back Count Dooku. I could most definitely see them bringing back General Grievous and a healthy General Grievous. I'd love to see that fight.
He was one of my favorites.
Oh, I think if they do that, like they could make a whole season out of just Obi-Wan and General Grievous. Like I think that'd be really cool.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm excited to see some of that. And who knows, maybe we'll see some Qui-Gon Jinn past things, and I think that'd be cool. Maybe some Darth Maul too.
Yeah.
So
you make a good point. I didn't think about bringing back those characters in the Obi-Wan series, but that
because they never explained what happened to Darth Maul, and in the comics we all know, from the animated show we know that he gets animatronic legs.
Yes.
And in the show he gets spider legs, but
no one ever knows when he actually dies. Does he actually die? Does he turn into Snoke?
Yeah.
I mean, the question's been asked, and there's videos about it that it could be possible.
That could be,
nobody knows.
Yeah. Because we never did get a definitive answer of who Snoke was, did we?
I don't think so. That's why can't remember who it is on somewhere I saw it, but it was a pretty lengthy video explaining all the similarities between the two, and they even have very similar voices if you listen to them really carefully. But I mean, maybe he was just remolded or resculpted into Snoke.
Yeah,
it's possible.
I could see that. Yeah, and the major theory that was going around was it could be Mace Windu, and then the other one was it could be Anakin because he had that huge thing on his head, which looked like Anakin's scar that he had on his head. But I don't know. I doubt it was Anakin.
I wish there was more from him too. I feel like he was always just a hologram or a guy in a chair, and that's it. You didn't see anything from him.
Yeah, they portrayed him as he's this big bad, and then he literally got smoked as soon as you see him.
Yep. I'm just gonna pull the lightsaber towards myself, cut you in half,
Yeah.
and you're out of the movie.
Yeah, it was kind of weird, honestly.
Mm.
But I mean, I get what they were trying to do with it. They're trying to make it seem like that was the big bad, and then it was another big bad. But but yeah, I mean,
which was great that they ended it that way. I thought that if they didn't go that direction, I wouldn't have liked the movie. But the fact that they ended it that way, that was great with Palpatine returning.
Yeah, no, I thought that was cool. I thought it was cool to see him come back because I didn't expect it.
Now, if you remember when they first show him hung up, he's like strung up on that
machine thing. Yeah,
there's all kinds of tubes around that have Snokes in them.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and they're all at least from what I remember, it looked like they were all Snoke in the tubes, like being remade.
Well, maybe he is Snoke or something. Yeah,
or something. I don't know.
Yeah, but I think they kind of left that up to interpretation,
Yeah.
But yeah. So let's move on. Let's get a little bit more serious. We're going to talk a little bit about current events. We had a good discussion the other day on the phone. We kind of talked about this. I don't necessarily want to say what is your opinion, but what did you see happen at the Capitol building with the riots that happened, or the protest? I will say the protest, but whoever you are, you're going to interpret it differently. So what did you see? What do you think happened?
Well, as we all see with anything with politics, it depends on the channel you watch, and it all depends on when did you hear it? Did you hear it later in the night when they were able to change everything that happened into their own interpretation, or did you hear it and actually see it during the day?
Yeah.
I remember hearing about it. I want to say it was like 2 PM, wasn't it?
I think so. Yeah.
Happened. And I didn't know what to think.
Yeah.
I was like, first off, it was the middle of work day, so thinking about that, but to hear that somebody had stormed the Capitol, which is how they worded it, and to use that wording right off the bat, I'm like, stormed the Capitol. Interesting. We don't do that.
Yeah.
That just doesn't sound like something we do.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. So I immediately went for, I think there was something else at play there. Somebody else did that and was impersonating the Patriots. But then I hear that it's both. I really don't know. I mean, the more and more that the story keeps coming out, I don't know.
It keeps changing.
Yeah, it's just there's so much more there that I'm like, why wasn't that part of the story that day?
Yeah.
But a week later, there's like this much story now.
Yeah.
That you've now filled up 8 days worth of story in one day. That really only happened in 1 hour.
Yeah.
And then it was over with, and I don't know. It's hard to know what to believe anymore.
It is, and especially like I saw a video the other day, and it was of this one congressman. I can't remember who it is. I'd seen him before. He's talked about other things I had seen, and he was saying like there were Antifa members that broke in and caused like planting the bombs and this and that. But then you go and you look it up, and it's PolitiFact says it's false, and all these other fact checkers say it's false, and you just don't know what to believe because it's not even a fact of, I'm a Republican and I want to believe the Republican side. I want to know what the truth is. You know what I'm saying? Like it has nothing to do with your political biases. It has more to do with what happened so that I can make my own opinion on it. And they don't, I think no matter who it is, they don't really want us to know exactly what happened because they don't want us to have a true opinion on it.
No.
They want us to have some false, fake, thing that we've sculpted out of something that we don't even know the full picture of.
Mm-hmm.
I just saw 20 minutes ago that Donald Trump was impeached for a second time.
He was impeached, yeah?
By the House.
Oh.
Yeah, by the House. It was all the Democrats and then 10 Republicans voted.
Yeah. Well, now I think it's really them trying to save their own butts at this point. They're trying to save face, and I think the everything that has happened with Trump in these past 4 years, I think that he's dangerous to ally yourself with in the sense that if you ally yourself with him, you're going to be attacked by the media and you're going to be attacked by people, no matter for what reason.
Yep.
You could be allying with him because you're getting ready to allow him to come on your new social media platform because he's been banned from every other one of them. And you're probably going to get paid millions of dollars, but they're going to attack you because you're giving Donald Trump a voice.
Which makes sense as to why they were all loving him and doing supporting him all the way up until the past month.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, it's like everyone's just walking away.
Yeah.
And turning on him. It's like, well, he's got nothing left for us.
Yeah.
It's time to walk.
So do you think he had anything to do with that storming the Capitol? Because I know a lot of people are saying, his tweets, he was tweeting for people to go over there and do this and that.
I don't think he incited anything.
I don't either.
No violence,
I think it's the same thing that Trump always does. It's the same. He says something and you're going to take it a certain way.
Yeah.
It's Trump. He was saying, and I think I had seen the tweet. It was him saying we're not going to stand for this.
Mm.
So, in what part of that tweet does that say we're storm the Capitol building, make sure that I get reelected? You know what I'm saying? Yes, you can interpret it any way you want.
In between stand and this,
but
they just fill those words
Yeah.
wherever they want. They don't look at anything that he does. They don't show you what he actually says. They show you one little clip that fills their narrative.
Yes.
And that's it. That's all they're ever going to show anybody ever.
Yeah.
And when he's out, everyone says, well, they won't be able to blame him anymore. Yeah,
Yeah.
they will.
They will.
They're going to blame him the whole time.
Yeah.
Because it's easy. It's easy to blame one person and have one person take all the blame, because for so many years they all had to take the blame.
Yeah.
And they're like, this is great.
Yeah.
One guy take all the blame. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, why wouldn't you?
Exactly.
No, it's not right. I mean, when you look at how I would like to, ask any of the congressmen, you can sleep at night knowing that you made these decisions, and you stuck by him for this and this and this, which were all the right moves, but now you're retracting that and acting like it never happened, or you're going against him and saying, well, now he needs to be impeached. How is anything that he just recently did any different than he did for the last 4 years?
Exactly.
You're
and if you think that the storming of the Capitol building, which resulted in more casualties and injuries on the people storming than anyone in there. I know all these people want to say that that these people were treated differently because they're white and they were just let right in. Well,
that's the media trying to brainwash.
Let's not forget the woman that was shot and killed, and I know a lot of people are making fun of her because she stormed the Capitol building, but the fact of the matter is people were shot. People were tased. People were pepper sprayed. People were held at gunpoint on the ground. It was not a picnic. Yeah, you see the pictures of people sitting in Congress chairs, but those are 4 people. Yeah. There's always going to be in a group of 1,000 people, 4 people. Yeah, I can see 4 people getting through and doing stupid shit. But
you're never going to find just that one unedited hour-long video.
No.
And see the whole thing.
No.
Unless somebody had a hidden camera on them
Yeah.
or something, but it's just you're gonna turn on one channel and you're gonna see everything that makes it look horrible, and Republicans did it.
Yeah.
But there may have been one, Antifa or something.
Yeah.
But they won't say the word Antifa.
Yeah.
Then on the other side, it was definitely Antifa. There may or may not have been somebody who traded sides.
Yeah.
In there, there's some reports of people who
Yeah.
may or may not be Republicans. They're going to find any way, and then they're going to twist the videos, clips, to make it look like, well, they were saving these people. They were making sure that Antifa didn't break in, and I've seen those. I don't know what really happened.
Yeah.
All I know is what they're telling me.
Yeah.
And my own interpretation of it is the whole situation kind of makes me uneasy.
Yeah.
Because I don't agree or disagree necessarily.
Yeah.
I don't think it was the right move to make. If they thought it was right, I think they did it wrong. They went about it the wrong way. There's no reason they couldn't have all just stood outside the Capitol and sang songs and just sat in the street and said, we're not moving until you show us respect for what we want, or act like you're interested in something. But they didn't. They went that extra move, and whether it was the people who maybe a few people with right intentions went in not knowing what they were getting themselves into.
Yeah.
Maybe wanted to get out, but there was no way out.
Yeah.
Maybe they were stuck in. I'm not sure. I didn't watch enough videos, I guess, to.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen a lot of things like, there was, I think, 3 bombs found on the premises.
I've heard that.
And to me, if we're going to think about this as a split side, right? If we're going to think of this as the Republicans are terrorists because there were 3 bombs found on the premises. So since when does or at least that group of people that stormed into the Capitol building, what did they want? What was the prime thing that they wanted? They wanted the Congress and our vice president to say no, that Biden is not going to be elected and we're going to stay with Trump.
Yep.
So why would anyone that loves Trump and loves Pence and wants him to be president, why would they shove bombs under there and blow them all up?
Yeah.
It just doesn't make much sense to me. And I don't think that this is a side thing. Yeah. I don't think this is left or right. I think this is just some crazy person that put bombs on there.
There is a such thing as just a maniac who wants to hurt people.
You know what I'm saying?
That is a thing.
And I'm not, and I completely, I am not for what happened at the Capitol building. I don't think it was right.
No, me either.
And like you said, I think standing outside and chanting or singing, I think that would have had the same kind of effect. And it would have been, it would have been different. But it's just, it's sad that we're at a point in this country where there's bombs found on a premises of someplace and it's just automatically assumed it's an entire party in the United States. You're really generalizing 60 million people or whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy.
The second thought I had as I heard all this going down is they're gonna turn this on us. They're gonna say that it was all Republicans.
Yeah.
They're not just gonna say it was those 8 people or 30 people or however many people it was. They're gonna say it was all of us. And they're gonna try and segregate everything that much more, which is what the media has done this whole time. All they've done is try to divide America, and they'll continue. That's their job. It seems like that way anymore. Not reporting the news, just dividing America. I don't know if there's more money in that or what.
I think it's a play for power is what it is. Is when they divide us and they make it so that we can't compromise on situations. Yeah. I think numerically, I think the left has more numbers than the right, and I think that the right is, because the right, and at least from me, I'm okay with compromising on things. I will talk to a Democrat and we can compromise on things. Not Daily Wire, but you sent me the thing by Ben Shapiro the other day.
That's Daily Wire.
Yeah, Daily Wire, but it was actually, I think Steven Crowder posted it on his channel first.
Yeah.
And that's where I saw it because I had seen it before. And that it was about coming together and compromising. Yep. And I'm not saying that this is every Democrat. It's not. I know that. But every Democrat that was filmed didn't want anything to do with compromising. They said they did, but then when it came to compromising on things, they wouldn't compromise. You could come at me with any situation, even one that I'm most passionate about, guns, and I will tell you I can compromise on something in that. So if you're saying, I will allow you to have your guns, but I want stricter background checks. I'm going to say yes to it because if you're allowing the guns, then that's fine. If you want to go back and do a 5-year background check and make sure, or whatever the background check is, go ahead and do it. I mean, as long as it doesn't get too invasive, I guess. But yeah, that's exactly it. I'm able to talk about compromise, and I don't know. I think that it's a quality that is becoming ever so more rare among anyone, and I think the media knows that, and they want us to stop talking to each other. They want us to be divided because they know that with division, they're always going to win. The left is always going to win.
They use the excuse that we're spreading lies amongst each other, which they do too. I mean, there's misinformation everywhere. I mean, it doesn't mean you listen to it. It doesn't mean you listen to everything. It means you do your own research and figure it out on your own. And that research doesn't mean go to CNN. Doesn't mean go to Fox. It doesn't mean go somewhere and try to get a media's version of truth. None of that's truth. No word that comes out of politicians' mouth is truth. No word that comes out of the media is truth. They are just either opinions or they're trying to sway words to make you think a certain way. Mm-hmm. What's the truth is you watching the video yourself.
Yeah.
Watch the unedited version of what took place.
Yeah.
You can't not do that anymore because everything's filmed, everything's somewhere.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't seem right and it seems like there was clips taken out, look for another one.
Yeah.
Look for one that isn't, because that's what they're doing anymore. They seem to take out some of the parts they don't want anybody to hear, and then you don't hear you always hear I didn't hear that part.
Yeah.
How can they do that? How can you report the news and actually cut parts of a video out?
Yeah.
And then say, yep, this is what happened.
Yeah.
Something that
doesn't seem like the news anymore.
No.
It seems like propaganda is what it is, and that goes for both sides. It really does. And I like to stress on the show, like I try to be as neutral as possible. But I'll be the first to say, like I'm a Republican. Like I just my viewpoints align more with Republicans. But that being said, I still have many Democratic beliefs. I have many. My mother's a Democrat. Like I grew up under Democrat, teachings, but at the same time, like I get like my hunting morals and my work ethic and all that. That comes from my Republican self, and then I get my caring and maybe we should allow this, we shouldn't allow this. I get that from the Democrat side. I'd like to say that I'm independent, but I chose to sign up as Republican because when you're an independent, you can't vote out that first time.
Yes.
You only get the actual election itself.
The preliminaries.
Yeah, and to me, the preliminaries are important because if there's 3 people in there that are absolutely terrible and one guy that's okay, I want to make sure the guy that's okay is going to win out of those 4 other people. 3 or 4 other people.
And I don't see why they're not able to. I haven't been able to vote in any preliminaries because I'm an independent. I registered as an independent originally. I never changed anything. I never went one side or the other. I've always been able to see both sides of every situation.
Yeah.
Whether it be from the party lines or just 2 different opinions or whatever it is. But there is every major political situation. I can see one view one way, one view another, and I can visualize mutual agreement. But that's just me.
Yeah.
I mean, even if I wrote them a letter and said, this is how I think it should be, I don't know. I don't feel like our word is, and our opinions matter as much anymore. Just like we don't feel like our votes matter as much anymore. But I do believe it does. I think it does. I think us talking together matters. I think, everyone talking things out and getting to a solution is the only way to really fix it. And especially with 2 different points of views. I think it's healthy to talk to someone else who has an opposite point of view of you. It should.
Yeah.
Because then you get to see what you can bend on. And then you get to see where they can bend. And come to a compromise. And then that if 2 people can do it, then 500 people can do it. It just takes a little longer. I mean, they can do it. The Congress, I mean. Yeah. But I do tend to side with the Republican on most morals, and I'm a big fan of guns. I do believe, like on the gun topic, that the only way to stop a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun. Yeah. And that'll be that way every time. Because tell me another way it's going to happen. Yeah. Other than, a Rambo guy coming in with just a knife. Yeah. It's just unlikely. Yeah. But if somebody else was there who's trained and knows what they're doing and can take that guy down before he takes out too many people, and or hopefully nobody, if they can just see it before it happens, the better. But if every building we're just not going to have any weapons in it, and then that guy makes his way in, nobody's taking him down. Yeah. You think 100 people are all going to just jump on the guy? Yeah. And
yeah. It's not likely. No. And I agree. Like I'm a big gun advocate. And I've always said, there's in the past few recent years, we've seen a major upspike in this rape culture. And I have always said personally, if more women carried around handguns or if more women had their pistol permits, the numbers of rape in this country would drop.
Yep.
People wouldn't be getting raped anymore.
And you don't have to have
because
a gun.
you would just know. Because no, you don't. But if there were a majority of people that did do it, and even if you did it for, if every woman bought a gun for 6 months, right, and then you all had it, right, you're trained on how to use it and everything, because when you take your pistol permit, you have to learn how to use a pistol and everything.
Yep.
And I just, there'd be 6 months where every girl in America has a gun. I'm not sure every rapist is going to have a gun on them.
No.
And if you're trained, you have your pistol permit, that means you're trained, so you know how to use your pistol, and you know how to use it in these circumstances. People ain't going to be raping anymore.
Yeah.
Just plain and simple.
Or at least
and then you can walk around with free the nipple and everything, and no one will care, because now you're strapped, baby boo.
Yeah.
So that's my take on it. Yeah, and even pepper spray. Like, not enough people just carry something to defend themselves with.
A brick, whatever. If you
anything.
can have something on you.
Yeah, but like that's just it though. Like, I've always been a major advocate of guns. Like, I know there are people out there that are very against guns, but have you ever shot a gun? Have you ever even been taught what a gun is? Like, have you been taught that a gun is a weapon, or have you been taught that a gun is a tool? Because I was taught a gun is a tool.
Yes.
And but you treat it as if it were a weapon because it's unsafe. Never look down the barrel. All those kinds of things. And I don't know. I just think that would definitely clear up a lot of BS, and we wouldn't have to deal with all the crime and bullshit that we have to deal with nowadays.
Very well could, but I don't see that happening.
No, it would never happen.
That would be quite the movement.
It would never happen. Yeah. I know it would never happen, and I don't ever expect it to happen.
Everyone gets a mysterious box on their doorstep with a gun in it.
Yeah,
just like...
But you know what I'm saying though? Like, could you imagine if every, like, obviously, like, not like people that are criminals and everything, but like if every smart person out there, like, we made the new movement in this country that we are about safety, and with safety, guns are the answer.
Yeah.
We're getting told the complete opposite right now. But I'm just saying, theoretically, I think that if we were taught the way that I was taught how to use guns, and everyone had that kind of thing, I think that we would be living in a much better society. But that's just me. That's just my own personal take on it, But yeah. So
what's that saying there? Lawlessness is something. I can't think of the saying.
I know what you're talking about. I can't think of it either.
Lawlessness is reckless.
Yeah.
But that to not have the rules and laws along with the guns, it would be chaos.
Oh, of course.
There needs to be some sort of regulation.
And that's why I said, like, you need a pistol permit. You need to be taught how to use it and everything. There needs to be laws behind it. It can't just be like, you go out and buy a gun.
Yeah.
That's not right. You can't do that.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be able to do that. And I wrote a paper on gun laws and things in high school. And in Georgia, at the time at least, every 5 years, your record gets wiped clean. So if you have a mental disorder and you go in, like, you're in a mental hospital for like 10 years, after you get out, you wait 5 years, you can legally walk into a gun store and buy a gun because your record is wiped clean. Like, you could literally have been in that psych ward for, like, eating somebody or something, and it would be wiped clean.
That reminds me of your last episode.
Yeah.
I was listening to that part while I was driving home with dinner yesterday, and I'm like, I gotta pause.
I'm getting a little hungry. Yeah. I gotta stop.
Well, the cannibalism part.
Yeah. So we just mentioned it earlier. Grace just mentioned it. What are your thoughts on this second impeachment?
Waste of time.
Yeah, I agree.
Waste of time and money. Less on the money part because they're going to spend it anyway.
Yeah.
We're paying them regardless of whether they're doing this or not, so it's costing the same amount of money. But complete waste of their time. There's many more things they could be working on, but I think they're just trying to distract us until something major happens.
Yeah.
And until hopefully nothing major happens, but I don't know.
If anything major happens.
The Senate now that everyone's turning on him.
Wait, what?
You think because it passed in the House?
Yeah.
You think it is going to go through the Senate? Because everyone is.
Well, I mean, we lost majority in the Senate, didn't we?
I saw McConnell said before I got here that he was undecided on whether to convict.
Oh.
So yeah.
That's
they're playing hardball.
Yeah.
They're not sure. I don't know. Definite waste of time. It's not it's not necessary, but of course, I'm sure everyone on the left is just eating
Well,
it right
'cause
up, saying
they're-
they got to make it so he can never run again. And and
that's
I don't
exactly
know.
it.
Does that even do that? I don't.
I think it does. When you get impeached, even if you're out of office.
He was impeached last time.
He was impeached, but it was rolled back, wasn't it? Like it was.
Was he?
I'm pretty sure he was impeached by the House, but then when it went to the Senate, they declined it.
Okay,
and
it wasn't
he
an official. So if it was, okay.
Yeah, because I remember that was like a thing that was going on. Everyone was saying he was impeached, and I was like, no, he wasn't.
He was only
wasn't
impeached by
actually
the House. Yeah, you're right.
And but yes, I believe so. It's like when you're impeached, if you're not thrown out of office, you can't run again. And that's kind of what I think they're going to do. Is even if they don't get it while he's in office, is they're going to pursue it when Biden takes over.
I thought he was officially impeached, but just they chose not to convict.
Yeah.
I swore that's
maybe
what
he
the
was
outcome
maybe he was impeached, but they couldn't convict him because
Yeah.
they didn't have like the necessary evidence.
I
to
thought
convict
maybe
him.
you needed to be convicted in order to not be able to run again, and that's what they were
Yeah.
hoping, that he gets convicted this time. But I mean, I haven't even read the terms and read what their argument is. Last time it had me, I was listening to it every day. I was involved in it. They dragged that on for months and months and months. Look at what they did in less than 3 days of working on this.
I know.
And that took them 2 months last time to even get to there, and they
it's crazy.
They know how to waste time.
Oh yeah, the Capitol was just the beginning of it.
It's all for show.
It is.
Everything's just for show. I do feel that.
Yeah. So we kind of touched on it earlier, but media they influence society in many ways. Can you think of any examples of that you've seen of the media like really influencing like a whole demographic in a completely different way? Like for example, the media's influence on guns. You know, they push the school shooter narrative a lot. Like there's, if we have guns, then kids are going to get hold of them. They're going to go shoot up schools, or we're going to have these kinds of things. We're going to have these tragedies. Guns are the reason that we have these tragedies.
The BLM was definitely pushed by them.
Yeah.
And amplified tenfold.
Yeah.
And them, during the protests and then the riots and everything else, that they just kept acting like it wasn't what it was, even though but I don't know. It's just like this, the Capitol building. Were we seeing one thing, and maybe it wasn't that bad?
Yeah.
I mean, maybe those buildings really weren't on fire.
Yeah.
I don't know. To stand in front of a burning building and say it's mostly peaceful.
Yeah.
I think that's a definition of what you just said. They influenced everyone in their terms of that. By saying it wasn't that bad. This isn't what you're seeing. You're not really seeing what's here. This is way better than it looks.
Yeah.
It's mostly peaceful. There was other terms that they used too. I can't remember now, but it was absurd, and they all had the same. It doesn't matter what channel you turned it to, they all said the same thing.
Yeah.
It just became a headache. That you didn't even want to turn it on to even look at what was going on. So I turned to other sources and tried to listen to as many podcasts as I could.
Yeah.
Let them listen to it and get annoyed by it, and then tell me what the real important things are.
Yeah.
And then I'll still make my decision based upon their opinion.
Yeah.
Because you can't just listen to what somebody says and say, yeah, that's how I feel too.
Yeah.
Everything that guy said.
Yeah.
You got to make your own judgment call on what's real and what's not. Look it up yourself after that piques your interest on what he just said.
Yeah. No, I agree. And I think, the media, just with the whole Black Lives Matter thing in general, the media has kind of put their own twist on it. And they treat you, how they want to treat you. No matter, like, of course, like, in my eyes, like, when I think of Black Lives Matter, like, of course, like, yes, like, they do.
They do matter.
But like when you try and say your opinion of like what went on with the riots and everything, even if it wasn't the Black Lives Matter protesters, even if it was just Antifa, the way that it looks and the way that we go out and the way that the media makes that look is they don't even address the fact that there could possibly be Antifa until the Republicans like make them address it.
Yeah,
it's
and
just
they still never did.
No,
they never did.
And I mean, it's weird because, like, they're really trying to get you. They're trying to make us all seem like we're these racist, terrible people, when in all reality, it's just we do agree with Black Lives Matter. We just don't agree in the facet that it was portrayed, you know, in certain manners, not even in all manners. Like, I think that some of the things that the Black Lives Matter movement has done has been beneficial and it has been good. But at the same time, I think that it's also caused this bad cancel culture narrative that, you know, if somebody says that they don't support the Black Lives Matter movement outright, then they must be a racist or a terrible person.
And if you don't say the full Black Lives Matter,
yeah,
and you don't just say they matter, like we just said, that wouldn't have been acceptable.
Yeah, exactly.
But then to be encouraged by some of the media, you know, either Nancy Pelosi or Cuomo's brother, all saying, you know, who says that protests are supposed to not be violent, and basically encouraging it, and saying, and Nancy said there should be uprests in the streets everywhere.
Yeah.
Why would you say that?
Yeah.
Why is that proper for them to say it?
Yeah.
And no one calls them out on it ever.
Yeah.
No one. It's like, if they say it, it didn't happen.
Yeah.
That was yesterday.
Yeah.
Why are you worried about yesterday?
Yeah.
Let's worry about like now and tomorrow.
Yeah.
But if a Republican says something, this is going to haunt you for months.
Oh, for sure.
Months.
Yeah.
And then we'll remind you of it every year after that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's why I think we're going to be hearing about Trump for the next, 10 years.
It's not going to go away.
You know. So, with everything that we've said, how do you think we can come to true change? How do you think we can band together and really change?
We have to find common ground, which, you know, I sent you a video earlier of a guy going out and trying to ask random people where we can find common ground.
Yeah.
But then when they were asked about how they feel about the other side, they said, I will never agree with them, or, you know, something of that form. You have to get over that at some point. I have always been able to at least try to look at it through your point of view. I may not agree with you 100%. And, you know, Congress is going to have to do that. People in America are going to have to do that. Everyone has to be able to come together and just sit down, have a discussion, and actually come to a solution.
Yeah.
Once we start doing that, we can fix things.
Yeah.
It doesn't need no violence needs to happen. There doesn't need to be, you know, all this chaos in the streets and endless protests. I mean, it's our right to do so. Yeah. Everyone's welcome, but I just don't think that's the solution.
No,
because it's too political.
It's
wrong if you do it one way, and it's right if you do it the other.
Yeah.
It's obviously not going to fix it. If they can make it political, it's not the solution. Mm-hmm. Now, if both sides come out and have the same story, now you've done something.
Yeah.
And that doesn't happen very often.
Yeah.
But it can happen, just as it's going to take the right people to want to make it happen. Mm-hmm. They have to want Congress to, one, stop getting pay raises and stop asking for more money and worry about America, not themselves. To come up with solutions to these controversial, like abortion and the gun laws and anything that both sides are like, I want it this way and I want it that way, and we're just not going to agree. Well, that's kind of Congress's job, is to make us agree somehow. That's what the law is, right?
Yeah.
They make the law, and then that's the law now.
Yeah.
And we just all have to abide by it.
Yeah.
So it's just, but obviously it needs to be something for everyone and to help everyone, not keep bringing us backwards, not keep dividing us any further.
Yeah.
And the more that people, in media especially, media needs to just start reporting the news, the actual news. Like, if the headline is, man walks down road, gets hit by car, say that.
Yeah.
Don't say, black man walks down road, gets hit by car.
Yeah.
Or add any words.
Yeah.
You don't need to. He's a man.
Yeah.
It's just a man. Why do we have to be different?
Yeah.
You're making us look different.
Yeah. And
it's always coming from the side that says we're not supposed to be.
Yeah.
How does that make sense?
And, you know, that's a great point. Biden the other day, he was just saying, what did he say? It was.
I forgot this message.
Pretty much, yeah. Did you see the? Actually, this is not what I was talking about. But did you see the video of him? He was about to get interviewed by some news channel, and he was sleeping in the chair. You could hear him snoring.
I don't doubt it.
And the news lady was like, "Excuse me." I think it was fake, but it was still pretty funny.
Yeah.
But
I
yeah.
don't doubt it at all.
But yeah, so I remember what I was going to say. Joe Biden, he was talking about, this is the time for America to come together. We need to come together. And then he'll
Unity.
go out.
He keeps saying the words unity.
Unity. And then he'll go out.
about their words.
And then he went out and took it upon himself to say that the protesters at the Capitol, or the Black Lives Matter protesters, would have been treated differently than the protesters at the Capitol. Why would you even say that?
Which implies that the cops are racist.
Yes.
Saying that the cops would have shot people on sight.
Yes.
Or done something different than they did with those people.
Yes.
But then I heard from several, I can't even think of a sighting, but I know I heard that people would say, well, those people should have been shot. They shouldn't have been allowed to enter that building.
Yeah.
I mean, at what point is thousands of people coming at you? I mean, a cop's got to make a decision and say,
Yeah.
well, either I'm not letting this happen, but I'm saving my life.
Yeah.
But they could have done something more. And really, they were too weak. They should have had more cops.
I still don't think it was as clear cut as people think it is. Like exactly what you said. Like when you see 1,000 people rushing at you, right? Like
I would
cop
panic
or
too.
not. If I have an auto rifle or not, I'm going to be like, okay, maybe I'll shoot like 4 people, but then I'm done.
And then the rest are pissed.
Yeah.
And they're going to take you down.
Yeah.
And then now you just enraged them even more because
yeah,
they're going to say, why'd you even shoot at us?
I think it was the British. When Americas were the colonies, and the British came in and they massacred all those people in Boston. That's exactly what happened. There was like 6 people. They massacred them, and then they had the whole city like trying to turn up on them.
Yep.
That's why you don't want to necessarily have like the police are there supposed to hold order, but like when you have 1,000 people rushing you, and if you start blasting rounds off at people, you're gonna piss everybody off. They're gonna be like, why are they shooting all these people, even if they are doing something wrong? People out there are gonna be like, what is going on?
I'm amazed that there's not some type of, I mean, maybe I've seen too many movies, but there's not some kind of security to the main chamber that if there was people that break in, that the doors wouldn't close or something wouldn't lock them inside.
Well, now aren't they building a wall around it now?
Maybe.
I had heard.
I mean, I know the building's old, and it's not like maybe that kind of stuff couldn't be done, or maybe it's too much, or they'd have to do some kind of major construction that would hurt the building, which I understand.
Yeah.
But I don't know. The solution should have been, when you know that possibly 1 million people are going to be outside, hire more cops.
Exactly.
Hire more protective people to stop that from happening. It's almost like it was done on purpose when you think about it and see how little police were actually there.
Yeah. It's sad. Well, Kenny, thank you for coming on. Thanks for having me. This has been awesome. Like I said, we've known each other for a long time, but we never actually got to meet in person. So this is a major thing for me. Like I've always wanted to meet a buddy on Xbox in real life. So thank you for coming on. I hope you guys all enjoyed today's episode. I know it got a little controversial at some points, but these are important things that we need to talk about, and we need to come together at some point, and we need to show that we are the American people, and this country is ours and not the politicians. And we need to prove that. And
they work for us.
Exactly. Until that point where we can come together, there will not be any change. It's just going to be one side blaming the other every single time. Yep. Until we can come together and be one people, it's always going to be that way.
When the media pins us against each other, they have won.
Exactly. And that's exactly what they're trying to do. So with that being said, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a fantastic day. Peace.